it's below 70 degrees here, I can't deal with it. I just wish it was summer, like year round. Here I was thinking it was gonna be warm today. I come out of the house in shorts and short sleeve shirt. Definitely a lot colder than what I thought it was gonna be. I'm actually really excited about today's tutorial. It was requested by a YouTube viewer of mine on how to do hi-hats. But first, gotta get some of the essentials before we get started. And I will be right back. All right, got orange juice, protein bar. Now we can hit the studio and actually get some shit done. You know, I always hear a lot of complaints from producers and artists that being their location, if they lived in a different place or they did this, that it would make being a full-time artist or a producer a lot easier. I live in one of the smallest towns of about 2,000 people, and I am surrounded by nothing but orange groves, farm life. Closest Walmart's like 15 minutes down the road, and I've actually managed to become a full-time producer. People gotta quit making excuses on their location on why they can't do something. Use it to your advantage. If anything, that should be more motivation to wanna, you know, become a full-time musician or producer or artist or just a successful brand in general. Stop making excuses. Start fucking putting in the work. Hey, bud. Young gods. Alright, we're back in the studio. Got the essentials. Gonna get into this tutorial. I'm doing this tutorial today because on my last video, one of my viewers by the name of Lavish Savage, he said, "That's cool, made it real quick, really catchy, blah blah. A tutorial on creating wobbly bass lines with lots of movements would be gnarly cool, or a tutorial on creating killer trap style hi-hat rolls. I would love to see some pointers on these topics." So today we're gonna be covering hi-hat rolls, how I do my hi-hat rolls, how to get little tips and tricks and different things you can use with hi-hat rolls. So we're gonna get right into FL and get to work. All right, so we're in FL Studio. I've got a little basic beat made. I just used a loop and threw a kick on here. No hi-hat yet. So usually the first thing that I like to do is I right-click on the hi-hat and I fill each 2 steps. It'll go ahead and lay everything out for you. There's really no right way to do hi-hats. It's just kind of a thing that you have to feel and, you know, do by ear. But I'll show you some tips and stuff that I really like to do. The first tip, one thing that I really like to do is I like to stagger the volume on my hi-hats. Gives it more of a bouncy feel. And you can hear the difference already. Now listen to it when it comes back in. Already much catchier. It creates like a bounce feel to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that over so I don't save some time here. By the way, to copy and drag, Control A to highlight everything, hold Shift, and then grab your note and just drag it over. Or Control C, Control V, copy and paste. All right, so let's get into rolls here. And I know a lot of people nowadays like to use, you know, MIDIs and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with it. Save some time, you know, be done with it. Make sure this isn't too long. Yeah, we're good. Did it double it? No. Okay. So what I like to do is I'll stretch out the part that I want to have do like a roll, a hi-hat roll, and I'll come up here. I'll switch it to a half step. And then what you can do is you can highlight it, control click, and then control U, and it'll automatically cut it for you. And I always love having the hi-hats kind of come in, have a hi-hat roll like right before the snare drops. And you can get creative with this, like as far as the volume control goes, kind of where it fades in. And another thing I really like to do towards the end of, you know, the first measure, like right here would be a good spot. I like 2 rolls, half the size. Once again, control left click and then hold control U. Control left click, control U. And we're gonna need one more in there, sorry. There we go. And then of course, if you want it to be quicker, I'll show you that as well. And get these spread apart, 1 space in between. You can come up here, you know, to your 1/6, and you can really chop it down where it's a lot quicker. Like I said, it's all preference. None of this is right, none of this is wrong. It's all preference. And when I do these 2 rolls, I actually kind of like to, you know, have the volume come in and then down. Gives a pretty cool effect. I'm going to delete these right here. Have it do a bit more of a dramatic in and out. And these don't have to be perfect either. Real quick. And what's cool is too, you could also kind of like on the single notes, I like to drop them down in some octaves sometimes. Make sure it's not off. Here, put it back online. I like to drop them down in octaves sometimes. Get it though? You know, and then once you kind of got the notes that you want, you know, you can kind of copy and paste over after that. And even doing lower octaves with your rolls are cool too. And already it's starting to take shape, gives it more flavor in the beat and stuff like that. On this one actually, I want to scale it. I want this one to come down a little bit. Let's see what this sounds like. Like I said, you just gotta kind of get creative and just play with things. Alright, this one was a little too high, so we want this one to come down. And already it sounds dope. You know, most of the time I'll kind of like copy and paste what I have from the first and just kind of make some different stuff on this side, whether it be some different rolls here or, you know. Like I said, there's no right way of doing this. It's just all about preference. And now I'll show you guys some of my open hi-hat techniques, some things that I like to do with open hi-hats, because open hi-hats and closed hi-hats, they kind of go together. One thing I always do is always turn up the crossfade a little bit so it only plays on, you know, it only plays the length. Oh God, I can't talk this morning. It only plays the length of the note that you put on the time here. On the, Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. Alright, so I want that a little bit shorter. All right. So this is one thing I really love doing with open hi-hats is I'll place one at the top, one at the bottom, double click this little arrow, click accept, and now it's going to do like a little dip. Oh, I thought I was going to dip a little bit quicker than that. Oh, it sounds weird because of the other one, but yeah, you kind of get the gist here. You can even do it on the first one. Let's do it here. Hold on. What is going on? Oh, use loop points. There it goes. Okay, now with the crossfade. There we go, finally. Okay, sorry. I'm still trying to wake up this morning. So yeah, we want to leave that one by itself. A little shorter one. Put the longer one here. Have it dip down. I like real quick, dips. And once again, you just gotta there's no right way of doing this. And once again, I'd probably just copy and paste over, certain things. And yep, I like that, so we'll just keep it going. And that's basically it. I mean, like I said, it's just hi-hats are all about just experimenting and trying weird things with the volume control, peaking them at different notes and stuff like that. And you can really get intricate and just kind of play with this thing. Like I said, there's no right way of doing this. There's no wrong way of doing this. It's all right here in your ear, and just having fun with it. A lot of people think that there's one way of doing something or there's a right way of doing something with beats, when in reality, all of the best beats are created by just experimenting and playing with different techniques and different ideas. So get weird with it. Do weird things. I mean, you don't have to be conventional with it. You can throw in weird hi-hat rolls in some of the weirdest places. Sometimes it sounds dope. I've made some of my dopest hi-hat rolls have actually come from accidents where I was just playing around, experimenting with this, experimenting with that, and I was like, whoa, that sounds dope. And that's how I kind of figured out, the pitch bend on the open hats. I do this a lot with my 808s. I do pitch bends a lot. And I was like, you know what? I want to try it on my open hats. And I started doing that. Another thing you can do with open hats, and I started doing this recently actually, is I really like to put delay on my open hats. I will put it at like a half with ping pong. I always turn the analog off because it makes like this static white noise. Kind of turn it down and throw some reverb on it. Also turn that down as well. And as you can tell, it just created this really cool effect all of a sudden. A whole nother element of it. So it's just a matter of getting creative, experimenting, trying new things, and just doing it. Honestly, I mean, there's no right way of doing hi-hats and stuff like that, but and then sometimes on my closed hats, I really like to put effects on those as well. Like I'll put a phaser or a flanger if I can find it. Am I that blind? There we go. I'll put like a flanger on it. Just got to get creative with things. Try things you would never try. And that's basically all there is to hi-hats. Is really just getting in there, experimenting, trying different things, trying new things. And then of course there's also midis. I use hi-hat midis all the time. just saves time. Sometimes it's just nice to be able to drag and drop. And even recently, in a lot of my newer trap beats, in a lot of new popular songs, you'll notice that a lot of people don't even really use hi-hat rolls anymore. They use just straightforward hats, and it's, kind of dope. So really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, if you guys want me to cover something, comment down below some ideas. I want to thank the last person, I mentioned him in the beginning, that suggested this tutorial. So if there's anything else you guys would like me to do, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hopefully I see you guys in the next tutorial.